Hello everyone, and welcome to Hyperanalyzing LCS, the series where we discuss the biggest moments from the LCS and give attention to the tiniest details that can decide the outcome of a game. This week I will look at some plays from week 6 of the 2022 LCS Summer Split. Cloud9 secured the Elder Dragon and Baron against Team Liquid off of this Teamfight.
Alrighty, Elder Dragon, he's under fire again. It's Berserker putting lots of spears into it this time. TL has to know that this Ren smite is coming.
They have to go before 2K.
They gotta get in there. Dragon's gonna reset now. Here we go, the fight's ready to break out now. Instead, is already down. Blabber stuck in the middle of everybody as Bwippo will try to cut Jensen to pieces. The shutdown comes through for Bjerg, and C9 scrambles to try to find a little bit more here in the fight. Berserker's still going forward, and they've turned it around. Goes, snip, snip.
After a lengthy standoff, Cloud9 starts the Dragon, and since they have Kalista stacking up Rend, Team Liquid has to at least push Berserker off of the Drake. Fudge teleports from behind the Dragon Pit to the bot lane minion wave so that he can flank TL. However, the Team Liquid minions do give them vision of this teleport, and they force an engage knowing that they temporarily have a 5v4 advantage. Santorin jumps onto Jensen, but Jensen crucially flashes away before Santorin uses Cyclone. Sven falls first, getting chain CC'd by Cyclone and Charm. Bwippo charges into the C9 backline, and CoreJJ flashes to use Wild Growth, helping Bwippo survive while knocking up both of the Cloud9 carries. However, the rest of TL is not able to contribute damage as they are focused on Blabber. The feel from Onslaught of Shadows separates Hansama from the rest of the fight, and Bjergsen and Santorin don't have enough damage to finish off Blabber, who is able to escape. Bwippo almost finishes off Jensen, but Jensen gets a big shield from Shifting Sands, which buys him enough time to use Emperor's Divide, pushing away CoreJJ and forcing Stopwatch out of Bwippo, who falls to a sliver of health from Berserker's Rend. Jensen does fall, but Berserker is still full health, and he is able to cleanse the Polymorph from CoreJJ. Once Polymorph is down, TL has no more CC to lock down Berserker, and Berserker is able to flash back to the safety of the rest of his team and kill CoreJJ in the process. Meanwhile, Fudge joins the fight from his teleport flank, quickly forcing Stopwatch out of Hansama, who is now stuck in the middle of the C9 team. Berserker continues to jump back towards his teammates, but as he turns to take down Hansama, Berserker jumps back into the river. This jump dodges Bjergsen's Charm, although it does hit Blabber instead, who is still low on health. However, Blabber is able to survive with Stopwatch, and with Fudge now in the fight and Berserker still healthy, they are able to push the rest of Team Liquid away, saving Blabber's life and claiming an extra kill against Santorin. C9 are not able to chase down any more kills, but by outplaying TL in the team fight, they have a player and health advantage, allowing them to claim the Elder Dragon as well as the Baron buff. Inspired got this clutch Elder Dragon steal to defeat Immortals.
No wave. They're spawning now. They could still go for the mid-wave cut. They spot what's going on. 13k health. Here comes the wall. They're going to cut most of it off. Will you find your way in? Is Jojo went over the wall? Impact diving in as well. Smite gonna be happening. It is Inspired who claims it. Is it going to happen now? They've already shut down Amumu. Looking for more of his impact. The flash to safety. Can't see it burns down. But Lost kills him. Danny trades it back. The charm lands. Jojo Kyun finds the third.
At 45 minutes in this game, it seemed that Immortals was slowly making a comeback and they were in position to potentially rush down the Elder Dragon. Power of Evil has what seems to be a good use of Weaver's Wall to cut off EG's approach. Jojopian and Vulcan both have to use mobility spells to cross the wall, and Danny is stuck on the other side of it and has to wait for the wall to fall before joining the fight. However, Inspired is heading towards the back of the Dragon Pit and Immortals does not see him coming. The red side vision toggle gives us some insight into this. Between Inspired's vision range and the wall marking the back of the red buff pit, we can tell that Power of Evil never sees Inspired coming. Inspired sees the blast cone get used, but he and Power of Evil never enter each other's vision. Additionally, this being the Infernal map, Inspired can run through the red buff pit to quickly get to the back of Dragon Pit. This all adds up to make two important things happen. First, Weaver's Wall doesn't actually hinder Inspired's approach, and second, Immortals does not know that. IMT plays to defend the front of Dragon Pit, with Kenvi using Keeper's Verdict to knock Jojopian away, while Inspired sneaks his way into the back of the Dragon Pit and lands a great smite just as the dragon drops below 900 HP. Additionally, since he didn't have to use his clone to get through Weaver's Wall, Inspired could use it to get into the Dragon Pit, meaning he still has Flash to get away. Revenge is almost able to finish him off, but Inspired dodges the Yone ultimate and knocks up Revenge with Cyclone. He then instantly cancels Cyclone with his Q, getting a huge heal from Divine Sunderer, allowing him to survive Revenge's Spirit Cleave before using his clone to get back into the Dragon Pit, which is now safely controlled by EG. Meanwhile, once Inspired steals the dragon, Impact solo kills Ignar with essentially just the Gwen ult and the Elder buff damage. He does get melted by Lost and Power of Evil with a couple procs of the Infernal Soul damage, but as Jojopian rejoins the fight after getting knocked away by the Poppy ult, he uses the last charge of Spirit Rush to get in range for a Flash Charm to lock down Lost and kill him. Kenvi gets taken down by the burn from the Elder buff, which gets reset by each tick of Danny's red buff burn, eventually putting him low enough for the Elder Drake execute. With Inspired getting the Elder steal, EG wins the fight 4 kills to 2 and would then push mid lane to win the game. Cloud9 picked up an ace just 9 minutes into their game against FlyQuest.
Taking over the game right now, but it's C9 looking to take the Rift Herald. Sven's going to be eaten away from this one by Jose Diodo's ultimate. Rift Herald secured by C9 and by Blabber, who walks up. He's going to be slammed into the wall. They get the ultimate out. That's what they're going for here. Philip jumps in, but Jose Diodo's going to die. They just turn it around. FlyQuest is free food, and Cloud9 just won the game.
Cloud9 takes down the first Rift Herald before FlyQuest arrives, but FlyQuest still goes for the teamfight, which will be a 5v5. Jose Diodo starts the fight with a heroic charge onto Blabber, but Blabber instantly pops Ragnarok, allowing him to ignore the stun. Blabber then turns onto Jose Diodo, taking him down in essentially a solo kill as Ragnarok also ignores a stun from Philip. Philip is unable to return a kill as he gets pulled away by Sven's dredge line and is quickly melted by the entire C9 team. Blabber's kill on Jose Diodo happens so quickly that Johnson and Afromu don't really enter the fight until they are down one player, with Philip already certain to die as well. FlyQuest does commit to claiming the counter kill on Blabber, but this causes them to bunch up in the river entrance, and Jensen capitalizes, hitting all 3 remaining players with Shockwave. This sets up Fudge to hit all 3 enemies with the final charge of Needlework, doing a lot of damage, and with Shockwave also pulling the FlyQuest players a little bit backwards into the river, they are close enough for Sven to hit a huge depth charge, ensuring that the remaining FlyQuest players will not escape, giving Cloud9 a huge 5-1 early game teamfight. Later in the same game, Berserker picked up a Pentakill as Zeri.
There's only 50 seconds until Soul. Maybe FlyQuest is going to try to actually get something here and give it up. Oh no.
They go in for Fudge, but it doesn't turn into a whole lot just yet. FlyQuest, this one's not going where they want it to go. Afromu bringing down the ulti, but FlyQuest are still in a bit of a tough spot. C9 pouring the damage into the health bars as Blabber stays alive, tanking on the front line, but he's finally going to drop. FlyQuest get 2! FlyQuest
here comes
2!
Berserker!
It's 3v3 here on the map.
Penta
Berserker is killing everyone!
There it is!
Berserker gets the Penta!
This play starts with FlyQuest attempting to turret dive Fudge. However, Philip flashes a tiny bit too late and his stun does not actually land. Fudge then sidesteps a potential stun from Afromu's Taric in addition to popping the Hollowed Mist to further protect himself. With this, the FlyQuest turret dive fails and 3 more players from Cloud9 head up through the jungle to turn the play around. Cosmic Radiance temporarily makes 3 FlyQuest players invulnerable, and during this time, Johnson uses his flash to get back behind his front line. Berserker smartly plays this really patiently, waiting for Cosmic Radiance to end before popping his ult, which hits all 4 of the present enemies. He quickly burns through Afromu's health, flashing into the front line in an attempt to finish off the first kill, but Afromu just barely survives before popping his stopwatch. Takuri now joins the fight, making it a 5v4, and between his AoE damage and Johnson's ricochet, the rest of Berserker's team gets decimated as 2 of them die and Fudge gets away with barely any health left. However, Berserker already has a lot of overcharge stacks, and with FlyQuest's low health bars, he is in position to win this fight 1v5. He has a great Ultra Shock laser into the jungle corridor that snipes Jose Diodo and is also impossible for Philip to dodge, and another shot of Burst Fire takes down Philip, quickly giving Berserker 2 kills and making this a more manageable 1v3. Berserker then uses Spark Surge through a wall to chase down the rest of FlyQuest, which also makes his next shots of Burst Fire pierce through Takuri to take down Afromu. Takuri uses Unraveled Earth but has to pop his stasis to stay alive. Between Berserker's still fairly high health and the fact that he is still overcharged from his ultimate, he has no problem winning the duel against Johnson for the 4th kill. Jensen now makes it to the fight where he assumes his role as a ward in the bush to allow Berserker to claim the Pentakill. Thank you for watching Hyperanalyzing LCS. Hit subscribe and come back next week for my analysis of Week 7.